start animating this guy, because right now he's pretty much just a still image. I want to actually build the animation so it looks like he's actually being affected by the firing of the gun. So anyways, let's hop over to shooter scene .swift, where it's pretty much the brains behind that level, and move to view. And this is just an override method called initialize shooter scene. Now it's going to give me an error because we didn't build it yet. And what this is just going to do is I'm just going to make a method to set up everything. Scene. I'm not going to take any parameters right now. And alright. So what do we want to do in this level? Well, the very first thing we want to do is we want to make a variable called score. And this is just so later on we can keep track of how many balls he hit or enemies he destroyed, whatever you want to call it. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an enemy count. And this is just so whenever we first load our level, balls are going to start dropping from the scene. I'm going to add one more variable, and it's going to be called shooter animation. So again, what this SK texture, we can go ahead and store all of these images in here. Now I'll show you guys a really cool way to do this. So in init shooter scene, let me just go ahead and put let shooter atlas SK texture atlas. And what do you want the name of this to be named? Why does it capitalize crap when I don't want it to? Alright, so this is a reference to an atlas named shooter. Now, remember that I told her, and I'm going to say for each of these images, take these and add them to this animation. However, I'm going to do it a really cool way. I can just go ahead and create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lines of code, but what if we wanted to add a really awesome way? So if you write for index in 1, so it's alright. So for here, we want to go from 1 to 6, but we just don't want to write 6. Instead, we can write shooter atlas, and it's not auto-completing, texture names dot count. So this is pretty much just going to count how many textures or how many images. From here, what we need is first just a reference to that image name, the file name, and that is just string, and the format of this is shooter %01D, and again this 01D means 1 is just index. Did I get it? Always gives me that extra symbol and it's ticked me off. Alright, so this is pretty much the image name, and in other words, it's a reference to the images, and for each one, we are going to add shooter atlas dot texture named image name, and that is it. So it should be good to go. So right now, if you run it, we shouldn't see a whole lot going on.